Hi guys, now before we start with the detailed guide video for this new class, I want to let you guys know I have already made a video specifically about the talents and deep talents of this class. I will not talk too much about that section when we get to it, so if you want a better explanation about that, please check the comment section of this video or the description for the link to that video. Also, I will be giving out a lot of options in my explanation, but know that my explanations for this class video or this guide video will be based on the free-to-play perspective and builds that will help you and not ruin your character in case you switch from this class to another class. That being said, let's start the guide video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoy it. So this class is a fire elemental physical attacking class. You can see it right here from the start. And you do have two stands like the Blade Master. You have your kunai mode, that's this one, and you have your fan mode where you use your fan to fight as well. So those are the two states this class has. It excels specifically middle and close range combat. I should let you know, if you are free to play and you're wondering if this class is gonna be perfect or contend against the other big ones, so far I don't think this class is a contender against the Shadow Fencer. Neither do I think it's a contender against the Visionaire. It can't deal as much damage as those classes, and I don't think you can survive as well as you would with the Shadow Fencer compared to using this class. So this class isn't really a survival one, it's mainly a DPS, and that's what we're going to focus on in this video, because building this around trying to survive, it's a lot difficult. It doesn't really have shields like the Blade Master, it doesn't really have healing like the Soul Dancer, it doesn't really have the survivability like the Reaper, even though they gave it the teleportation of the Reaper. You can see it's very short and it is quite difficult to maneuver around, but it does have the super armor or continuous super armor of the Visionaire, and it does have skills that can deal a lot of damage. I believe they actually spent their time in making this class. This class looks amazing. That being said, for free to play, I don't think this is for you. You can use it once in a while to enjoy it in battlegrounds and stuff, but in single PvP or in dungeons, I don't think you will really survive much as a free to play. The Reaper and the Assassin are still best for you. There are quite a lot of complications with this skill because there are some of them you can drag and others you cannot, like the teleportation you have to tap, but you can drag this one. You can drag it and just drop it over there. Yes, you can't drag this one. You can drag this one, but you can't drag this one. So there are a lot of things, and it will take a little getting used to if you are not good at the class. If you've not practiced with the class, you will run into complications just thanks to all this. But if you do get used to it, your rotation is gonna be insanely flawless with the class. Fission Blade is gonna be your most used skill in the red state Fission, and this is your teleportation skill called Spirit Away. It teleports you, gives you 1 second invisibility, and it can remove CC from you. Then you have Blazing Shadow, which is the third skill. It does a lot of damage and it's going to be your most used skill in the red state for crowd control and anything against group enemies. Then you have your fourth skill that is called Spirit Covenant and summons a fox. Now this skill ties together perfectly with this third skill because you see your fox moves around and deals a lot of damage. It's really great. Finally, you have your fifth skill, which is called Fan Dance. I believe there's changes to fan mode. I just call it fan mode. And in the first of it, you have this one right here that is called Nocturnal Leap. So you leap over there, stun your opponent, and if you tap it again, yes, you do have a lot of damage right there. I will explain what this is in a bit. Then the second skill right here, you do have it. It's called Blasting Kick. It does a lot of damage as well, but it's mainly for mobility. The biggest damage it deals is the third time you tap it. It has up to 3 charges. And then in the middle skill here, you have your Flaming Circle. Does a lot of damage, has 2 stages. The first one hits and the second one lets you jump from your opponent into a somersault, I believe. See the big damage I deal, that just one shot killed that bear. And finally, we have your fan mode right here. That deals a crap ton of damage. I'm just going to say that deals a lot of damage. And finally, you have this to switch back to your kunai state. So those are the skills. And up here, this builds up. We're going to call it Phoenix Dance. So the more of this you have, the more damage you can deal, the more damage your skills deals. Not all your skills, but certain skills like I believe this one. You see I have a lot of this here. When I tap it, it uses them, and the more of it I have, the more of the tornadoes or whirlwinds that comes out of this skill, dealing up to 5 total tornadoes, dealing a lot of damage. every single skill here is awesome. I'm going to move right next to the auto combat guide, and right here you can see I've already summed up everything here, so you can just pause the video and use the same thing that I'm using, but I'm going to explain exactly what I did right here. So first, what I did is when you start the duel, you want to go with the fox skill. You create a fox, and then you switch to the fan mode, and then you jump again with this one, let it be building, throw this, and then use this, and next you're going to use this one. When you've done this, you're going to use this as well to kick off of them and switch back to this mode, teleport away to go invisible, and then you're going to start with fission and this, and it's just going to repeat like that. That is basically what that auto combat build is. That is the entire setup about it. Now that we've explained the basics of the class, I'm going to talk about the stats of the class. You definitely want to start with the physical attack and your elemental attack. Have both of those. Those are very useful. Ignore the defenses, they are not really useful. You can see I have 12,000 defense here. It's from one of my stats I have not yet fixed, so ignore all of that. And then you want to average your defense. What I mean by average is make sure they are above the minimum. Like you say I have 800,000 attack, my defenses are 500. There can be more than this, but they should not be less than this. Your defenses should not be half of your attack. They should be more than half. That's what I mean. Next, you want to go for armor penetration and multi-strike. Have these two as much as you can. Armor penetration will help you deal more damage by ignoring your opponent's defense. Multi-strike, if it triggers, will deal a lot more damage as well. So this is basically damage dealing. Now you can go for your critical level as well. Why I mentioned armor penetration and MS before critical level is because you can compensate for low critical level by having a lot of things like your Dragonblood and stuff. Your dragons can help you compensate for that. Your allies can help you compensate for that. Your EX can help you compensate for that. So there's a lot of things that can help you with low critical level, but there's not a lot of things that can help you with low armor penetration or multi-strike in this case. So you can definitely up this as much as you want, especially if you're in whale. But if you're free to play, then just go like I mentioned, armor penetration as much as you can and MS. And you can see even with as much armor penetration as I mentioned and I went for, I still have more critical level than any other stats. So do not stress yourself too much about this. CDR is not needed for the skills cooldown. It doesn't affect the skills cooldown at all. It doesn't mean it's useless. It just means that no matter how many CDR you have, this is always going to be 3 seconds cooldown. So do not bother with CDR too much if you do not have the spared stats for it. Now it does help you increasing the damage that you can deal with your Phoenix dance, but it has a limit as well. So anything that pushes over is going to go into your HP, physical or magic attack. So for the cores, there are actually 2 core builds I'll suggest for you. This works for any class you switch to later in the future as well. So the first one is what I'm currently using, which is kind of more balanced. It's 9 fire, 5 water, and 2 wind. Again, the water isn't for CDR, in this case it's for armor penetration. So you could use this and it works for any and every class that I've been using so far. Next build will be, you want to switch this 9 fire for 9 wind. So it will be 9 wind, and then you have 5 fire and 2 water. Now in this case you actually go in attack and critical build, critical damage build, critical rate build. That's just basically what this will increase, and this one is for your attack. And since this class doesn't really use CDR that much, only 2 water won't affect you that much. It won't affect you that much. So yeah, again I would suggest that you just use this one I'm using. I think it works for every class and you won't have to switch your cores and spend your diamonds. Now like I mentioned earlier, I won't go too in depth into this, but these are the 4 builds I have for it. For the Kunai build, we have the Extremes for the S level, Abundant Soul for the A level, Soundless and Stirless for the B level, and Explosion Zone for the C level. This focuses on the red skill state. Now if you want to use the fan state, you will have to switch some of this. Now this is better for the fan states. This will help you a lot more. With the Extremes, you will not get stunned easily in the farm state as well. So this will help you deal more damage and prevent you from being stunned. That first one was the Kunai, and this is the fan. Now the PvE state focuses on both the fan and the fusion state. If you want to change anything here, you will have to change the S level nether fusion from that to this to deal more damage if you want to deal more damage. And you can change it or leave it at this nether fusion in case you are going in a team like in dungeons and stuff. This is a lot helpful. Now this team focuses more on ladder of honor, battlegrounds and stuff, anything that has to deal with you being with other people as well. You have this because it's mainly for PvP. This isn't really helpful for PvE. This is for PvP. Then you have your B-level talent, attack defense balance for a lot more damage with your blue state kicks. And what I mean by that is this state right here. These kicks will deal a lot more damage in case you do use them, even if it's just to escape. And finally, you have your C-level talent, this one with the blaze to help stun or fear your opponents as well. It's very helpful in group events. And for the hybrid build, remember I made this hybrid build for PvE, PvP, for free-to-plays and pay-to-wins, and for battlegrounds and whatever things you want to do. This hybrid build works quite well for all of them. In this setup, we have the B-level talent, Soundless and Stirless. This is for focusing on the red state, but I will advise you to change that from that to this. In case you use the blue state more, you can, that's all you should change. In case you use the blue state more, just change this to this. But if you use the red state more, then you will want to use this for those that want to play more strategic. So this will help you a lot more. And the deep talent is the same for all of them. Alright, I use the same deep talent for all of them, so you can definitely pause the video and just copy the deep talent. This deep talent works for the level 160s till 170s, I believe. If you're lower than this level, I'm sorry, I don't think this deep talent you will be able to unlock all of them. I don't think you will be able to unlock all of them. So the focus of this deep talent is mainly the middle and the right. That's the main focus. That's the fan mode and this green mode. So right now I deal a lot of damage in my fan state, but my red state still deals quite a lot of damage. The thing is, I just didn't focus on the fox because I don't think the fox is that helpful for now. Neither did I focus much on reducing the cooldown of Fusion Blade, because with a nice combo you don't need to reduce the cooldown of that skill. It will automatically be reduced if you time your skills properly. You see, automatically reduced. So Blazing Shadow is a insanely helpful skill that can help you instantly reduce the cooldown of Fusion Blade. And if you use this EX Falling Moon, automatically your Fusion Blade is going to be like 0 seconds cooldown. So I don't think there's any need to waste deep talent on that. And that brings us to the actual EX. Now for both PvE and PvP, I would suggest you go with Falling Moon. This is pretty helpful for you. It's mainly a damage dealing and buffing for you while debuffing for your opponents. Deal a lot of damage, slow your opponents, and man, it is awesome. That's what I would suggest. And the best part is it auto locks on your opponent, so you don't have to worry about it missing. Meanwhile, Scorching Gold, you need to go close to your opponents to actually use it. It doesn't lock them, so you have to be careful. I would just advise that you use that when you are like making you switch to the blue like I just did. Then you use it. That's what I would advise. Just try and stun your opponent and use it. That's the best way, because your opponent can just walk away from it. But thanks to the stunning of this and this fan that was spinning, it can keep your opponents trapped in there for a while that EX is there. But if you face opponents like the Shadow Fencers or the Visionaries that are very mobile, they can just jump away from that and you can end up missing your EX in total. Now other EXs I would suggest for this class will be Royal Fire, in case you face Shadow Fencers and stuff. This will help prevent you from being stunned. And we have Minefield. This is for burst DPS. You gotta make sure you time your opponents when they are off super armor. Again, I'll warn you that this isn't that useful against the Blade Masters. This class is quite weak against Blade Masters. It's kind of like a soul dancer in that aspect. And next we have Holy Judgment, a pretty good EX, very great for this class to remove super armor and stuff. And finally we have Judgment. Judgment is very awesome. It is Judgment. Now of course you can go ahead and use Dustbuster. It's a good EX for any class to use, especially if you feel you are weak, then Dustbuster can help you survive. So those are the EXs I would suggest for this class. Now that we're talking about allies, I want to make sure you understand something. These allies I'm about to mention are not a must for you to have. You don't necessarily have to have these allies or this class will suck. I'm just suggesting allies that I think will work for this class and for any other class you switch to in the future, so you don't have to start building allies all over again. Now there are three types of allies you can use for this class: damage boosting allies, control allies, and critical allies. That's critical damage allies, those that focus on your critical. Now for allies that boost your critical, Airy is perfect for this. You can see the ultimate right here increases your damage and the passive increases your critical damage by 15%. There are a lot of other allies like Airy, so you can just check out the passive, make sure it increases your critical damage And make sure the ultimate is something that is helpful for you as well, like damage increasing and stuff like that. Critical building allies like Eri are awesome. For control allies, an example is Captain Luminous. I don't have all the allies, so please bear with these examples. His passive increases CDR isn't great for this class, but the ultimate actually creates a vortex that can drag your opponents and just make them unable to move and be really annoying for any other class in this game. Now for the damage allies, these are allies that just increases your damage. An example of this is College Eri. The passive increases the damage ideal by 2%. Every single damage ideal is increased. Might not seem like much, but trust me, it works wonders. The ultimate as well increases my hit rate so my skills don't miss. That's one ally. I have a couple other examples about this that I found in War Chat, so see if I can show you guys it. Here's another example. Love Johan increases your damage, and the ultimate is also good. So this increases your damage while boosting the damage you deal. Another one is Trip Luminous, very good for any class at all because it reduces your opponent's defenses while increasing your critical damage, so keep that in mind. Boundary Luminous is also great, but this is more defensive. I don't really suggest you go for this except if you are a whale and you have a lot of shields and all those draconics that helps you with shield. Then this will be a nice addition to your team. And final allies I've noticed that can be helpful for this class and any other class you decide to use later on is the Guardian allies, Guardian Luminous and any of the Guardian allies. Just make sure you have Guardian Zero as well. She is very good in the Guardian team. So this will help you deal a lot of damage, keep you alive, and is basically overall good. Those are good allies. Now those are the examples of allies, not necessities, just examples of allies that are very good for this class and will also be good for any other class you decide to use. For the Dragonblood, for the 6-star Dragonblood, the first dragon I will suggest for you will be Fenrir. The shields of this dragon will be helpful for you in this class because whenever you switch from the red to the blue state, you do have to go close to your opponents to damage them most times if you want to use that blue state, and you will take a lot of damage. This class is very squishy, so the shields can help you tank that, and you can just go for a quick burst damage, deal a lot of damage, having the shield to protect you, and then run away. And the second dragon I will suggest for this class will be Lord of the Sky and Wind, especially for people that decide to stay in the red state. If you get stunned in the red state, it can be destructive. So this can help you survive. It just gives you super armor, increases your movement speed, and removes all control effects. So for the red state, Lord of the Sky and Wind, and for those that focuses on the blue state, Fenrir. And for the 5-star dragons, you definitely want to have Wingless Owl. This increases your critical rate and critical damage. This is one of the reasons why I said you don't have to focus on increasing your critical rate, because you have dragons like this that can immediately give you a lot of critical rate while boosting your damage as well. The second dragon, of course, is Serpent's Tail. I'm sure you already saw this coming. This is an overall great dragon to have. Works for every single class in the game, and it's awesome. It's just awesome. Next are the gear, specifically your sets. In this class, I don't think you should use this yellow. I don't think it's great for this class. You want to go more damage, so I'll suggest you actually use 6 pieces of this purple one, and then you can have 4 of the yellow if you want to go pure damage. That's one way to play this class. Now if you want to use the other style, which I call more DPS / support, you can have 6 of this purple and 4 of the red. So when your health gets dangerously low, you will have this 4-piece giving you an invulnerability shield to fall back on. Of course, you can always try and go more defensive, but I don't really advise it. While we are on the gear, let's talk about the 7 sins of this class, the ones that I think are best. First, we have Filth. Filth works for any class, every class. It's great for anything at all. Filth is awesome, especially in PvP. Filth is great. Envy is also great. This is a great 7th sin, especially for the free-to-plays. I will specify that again, especially for the free-to-plays. I would suggest you use Envy if you decide to use this class. It's going to nerf your opponent's attack, means you will survive a lot longer, while buffing your attack, meaning more damage for you. So the higher your Envy, the more damage you can absorb from your opponent, and it's just a great 7 sins overall. Then we have Pride, to remove your opponent's super armor, to reduce their defenses, increase your damage. It's basically just a great buffer and debuffer. Pride is awesome, and I think it works for anything and any class at all. And finally we have Wrath. Wrath, well, this I believe is a double-edged sword, but if you use it properly, you're gonna quickly eliminate your opponent if you use it properly. Finally, the Cocoon. Now there are two Cocoons I would suggest for this class. I'm using one right now. The first is the 6 green and 4 yellow. 6 greens to increase your damage and also your ammo penetration as well, while reducing your opponent's ammo penetration resistance and giving you super ammo. This is very helpful for you guys. And then you have the 4 yellow for just stunning and stuff. That's basically what it is, just to piss off your opponent with stuns. Then the reverse is the second option I'll suggest for you guys. 6 yellow and 4 green. 6 yellow for the same damage increasing, but instead of increasing your ammo penetration, it's actually going to increase your critical and also slow your opponent. Now this is another method to get more critical rate and stuff. And the 4 green is going to skill lock your opponent, so it is pretty annoying. So those are everything I can talk about in this class. This video has been so long. I don't know how long it will be when I edit it and stuff, but that has been it for the Yasai class. Now again, I will say this, I don't think this class is OP. I don't think it's overpowered for now, and I don't think it is something free to play should jump on unless you feel dedicated to the class. Then of course there's a way you can make the class OP after you've practiced over and over with it. Probably you will be able to defeat whales with this class. Probably. For now, I can only see this class defeating its similar rating to maybe 100 to 200,000 rating stronger opponent for now. Except maybe if your opponent doesn't really know how to play or how to use their own class. But that doesn't change the fact that this class is super fun, and you can definitely enjoy it with its numerous rotations and flashy skills. It is an awesome class to have. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been the detailed guide for Yasai. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or requests, please drop them down there in the comment section. I read all of them. I'll respond to you if needed, or make a video if necessary. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a very lovely day. Take care, guys.